Welcome everybody. It is very, very, very great to see everybody here. For those of you who I haven't met and don't know, my name is Amy Nelson-Bennett. I'm the CEO of Positive Luxury, very proud CEO. We're excited to be here tonight. This is our second open house of the year. We hold 2 every year in London. The great news is that so many people came and joined us. It's not on? Yeah, we're good. Big voice, I'm not going to say. He's got my back, he promised he would. But we had so many people come last time that we had to move off-site. So a huge, huge welcome to everybody to the other house, which we're incredibly excited to be here. It's a beautiful venue, and we will make sure that we tell you a bit more about some of the stories about the venue. What we're going to do tonight is have a conversation quickly before we have a few more drinks and some canapes about trust. The sort of most perhaps elusive and coveted asset for any organization, and in particular we want to talk to what is a group of real change makers in this room who are doing extraordinary things, but as we say, you're always on a journey. We always need to be doing more. And how do you use the work you're doing and the work you'll need to continue to do to build trust? And in particular tonight, we want to talk about building trust with your employees as well as consumers. So I've got an extraordinary panel here tonight. Very, very excited. So I'm going to introduce each of them and now refer to my notes like a well-trained person. Now he's giving me that look in the back of the room, which is stick to the notes. Right? Okay, so I want to start by introducing Naomi Heaton. Okay, she's in the middle here, very glamorous in the velvet. She's the founder and chief executive of The Other House. So we're in her pad. We're very, very grateful for being here. Thank you for being a generous host tonight. Naomi's also chairman of the LCP group, which she initially founded to represent investors in the private rented sector in prime central London. She's worked in the sector for a long time. She's seen a lot of things, and that led her in sort of more recent times to observe a really big change in the requirements of, in particular, the millennial generation. What were they looking for? What did they need? And thought it's really, really shifting, and the market isn't necessarily catering for that. So, thus you have The Other House, which Naomi tells me is blurring the lines between hotels, service departments, and the private rented sector to create a new sector of residence clubs. Now, I got the team to bring me here early so I could have a nose around the entire venue, which is fabulous, and the venue is definitely delivering to that description and more. It's beautiful. So this was opened in July 22, so still a relatively new venue. Very, very proud to say that The Other House was certified by Positive Luxury in May of this year, and they're currently doing an extraordinary build-out project in Covent Garden for their next venue that's going to open in 2024. Okay, to Naomi's left is Hannah Phang. Hannah is the co-founder and CMO of The Now Work. The Now Work is a flexible talent platform for sustainability. So a huge group that connects 500, I think you're about 600 now? I was going to say, I think it's grown, hasn't it? Independent sustainability experts that help organizations of all shapes and sizes, including yours truly, Positive Luxury. Hannah has served as the CMO of Endless Wardrobe. She was the head of marketing and advocacy of Futera, which is a big agency, and most people that they work with are in this web of Futera somewhere. So a really interesting business, gave them lots of great experience. She's also served on the steering committee of the UN Fashion Charter for Climate Action. We started working with them at the beginning of this year. For those of you who've seen a lot of the new work about the real change makers, a lot of black and volt and some new language and new tone of voice. That was down to our fabulous marketing team and their partnership with The Now Work. So thank you for coming tonight. And finally, next to me, we have the lovely Thomasine Jordan. So Thomasine's the Global Product and Design Director for LK Bennett. I'm sure you all agree, an absolutely iconic British brand, creating beautiful fashion and accessories for women. Since 1990, which I suddenly realize is a while ago. Yeah. I'm showing my age. So, with over 25 years experience in women's fashion across various ladies' wear brands, Thomasine's been at the forefront of LK Bennett for about 5 years now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Working with the business a lot on a lot of evolution and a lot of change. She leads design, buying, and the technical teams and LK Bennett. Again, very excited. I met the LK Bennett team at our very first open house, probably 2 years ago, the first event post-pandemic where we could all be in a room together. It was very, very exciting. But they joined the community not long after that. They were certified in April of this year and are a shining example of not just how to do the work, but also use it to build trust. So welcome. So, enough of me, I'm now going to start asking questions and let the talent in the room really talk. So I really want to start with a single question, same question for all of you. And you can answer them in whatever order you want to pass that microphone around, but maybe we'll start with Naomi. Since it's your place, so we'll let you go first. I'd like to know how each of you feel your business is leading real change across the industry, and see if you can give everybody in the room one really tangible example of what change looks like for you in your business.
Thank you very much. Thank you for a really comprehensive introduction. Pretty much said everything that I was going to say, but I've always been taught say it again and conclude with it, so then finally it comes and drives home. So first of all, welcome. It's really great to see you all here. A fantastic crowd of people. I hope I have the opportunity to talk to some of you afterwards. So welcome. I hope you really enjoy the space. At the moment you're in the other kitchen, you've been in the other monkey. I'll tell you more about that later on. And we will be taking you down to our club and to show you our club flats. And we have 3 wonderful people at the back of the room. We have Emily, Steph and Mark, who I can't actually see at the back of the room, but I was told he was there. So just grab any of them and they will take you around on a tour. So I hope you will really get a good look and feel of what the other house is all about. So really just to reiterate, the way that we have been a real innovator is the fact that we've really looked at the hospitality market. And what we're trying to do is to reshape the hospitality market by blurring the lines, as you rightly said. And the intention with the other house is to combine the best of hotel living with the best of residential living and merging it in with a private club. And the reason that we want to do that is that my background was residential, the private rented sector, and I could see that market was changing. And if I wind back a little bit more, my initial background was advertising, and I was a director of Saatchi's. So I believe passionately in brand, which we'll talk about, and obviously in trusting a brand, which we'll also talk about, and how you communicate to the consumer. But whilst I was managing LCP, which was specialized in the rental sector, I could see how our consumers were changing. First of all, location became more important than the size of the property. Then I could see that they started wanting more and more interior design, and then I started interior design and an aspirational lifestyle, and then I started seeing, which is I suppose more millennial, that services are required with a click of fingers. And I actually laughingly said, well, actually they want is a long stay hotel. And that was the beginning of the idea. But then I look, they have a great sense of place, they feel like a local. You look at hotels and there is a possibility that you may feel that you're very much a guest, you're in and you're out, you're not really part of it, you're not part of the scene, you're just there for a short period of time. And so although they had a lot of service and facilities, they didn't get that sense of place. So I really wanted to bring the two together so we could provide that sense of place and provide the facilities of a hotel. But also we've combined it with a private club. And the reason we brought included a private club is that people want more community, they want more experiences. The way people live has changed entirely, and particularly post-pandemic, in that sense of having a different lifestyle, having a different work leisure pattern, and needing areas to get together, creating a hybrid space. So that's what we've done here, and we have club flats, which are studio style or 1-bedroom apartments. We have wonderful public areas to bring the locals in, so that we are not just pushing people out, we're bringing people in, and then we have the club. So we have this complete hybrid model, and that is really what we've been working on. And the idea started well over 10 years ago. It's taken a long time to bring it to fruition. And we established our joint venture with a very large pension fund, APG, in December 2019. And that was probably 10 years of work to get that far. And we then started building refurbishing during COVID. In many ways fortunate, because we could build, and we weren't having to trade. So I feel that was a kind of fairly lucky escape. And since then, we've acquired another property in Covent Garden, and we've acquired a site in Belgravia. Where we're lucky, and really I suppose my biggest takeaway, is that because we're innovators, we could start from scratch and we could start with a clean sheet. We haven't had to retrofit. We have 4 brand pillars, and one of them is sustainability. And we were able, from the outset, to see how we could incorporate that into everything that we did. Now we're lucky because we are owners, we're developers, and we're operators, which means that we can be sustainable throughout the whole life cycle of what we're doing. It means that we can build better. So if we just take this place as an example, it was 11 beautiful Victorian townhouses. You can't really be more sustainable than take the asset that you've got rather than rebuild it. But then within it, we've been able to have air source heat pumps, we've had better insulation. Everything that we've done is to make this more sustainable, right down to enabling our guests to see how much energy we're using, and they can modify their behaviour if they so wish. So we've been really, really lucky with that. Covent Garden is 7 buildings which are on an island site, 4 of which are listed. A hugely difficult task, but just hugely difficult task, and it was derelict and so forth. But we're halfway through that. And then in Belgravia, you may be aware, but we bought the old police station, a very unattractive red brick brutalist building, which even the residents around there would agree. But we're not demolishing it. We're keeping the foundations and we're keeping the structure and we're building around it. So everything that we do on the build side, we are looking to improve our sustainability credentials. And on the operational side, we look at our supply chains, and we were so pleased obviously to be on the accelerator scheme and then to get our butterfly mark. And we involved all our team in enabling us to get the information to do that. So we've been able to do all sorts of things, whether it be out using seasonal produce, using large volume spirits that we then decant, all sorts of things that we've been able to do on a micro level to make our operations better. So that's been really, really important for us to be able to do that. So we've been able to innovate in so many different kinds of ways to put sustainability right on the top of the agenda. And all the time we're looking at how can we improve, how can we do better. We've got an awful long way still to go, but we made a really good start. And as I say, we're lucky enough to be able to have started at the beginning and not to have to retrofit.
Hannah?
Thank you. Hi everyone. So the Now thank you for introducing us. We're a flexible talent platform for sustainability. So we like to say we match world-changing people with world-changing work. So yes, we have a talent network of over 600 incredible sustainability professionals, and then we match them with work from corporates, from agencies, from certification bodies, to actually get work done in a way that can happen urgently, quickly, and in a way that's a bit more innovative and creative than how you might have approached solving a problem before when it comes to sustainability. And similarly, I think our company, our platform, could happen because of COVID, and obviously with the great resignation and the huge shift in how people wanted to work, we saw a huge change in sustainability, at least from our perspective, that so many people moved to flexible work, and we felt quite passionate about how can we actually create a future for work that works for us and that is fit for life. And the interesting thing about that as well is we found it's actually been really effective for our clients as well, is we're able to curate specific expertise, we're able to curate teams of people to help solve really unique and bespoke challenges rather than necessarily having a rinse or repeat model from an agency. We can really curate to a unique need that your organization or company might have. So we're really passionate about creating a new future for impact work, but I think a lot of what we do is then enabling and accelerating brands and businesses and those with a really concrete material impact to be able to make the change that they need to make and want to make as well. And the interesting things that we've been seeing since we started, we're just almost a year old now, is now sustainability is really moving from a sustainability strategy to operationalizing sustainability. So you kind of know what needs to get done, but now actually doing it, having that extra capacity when you need it, having that extra specific expertise, kind of deep technical knowledge, expertise, we can help plug in and help you to do that. And definitely in the communications standpoint, I think now with increasing consumer demand, with regulation coming into the space as well, we're doing a lot of work with both sustainability teams and marketing teams of how do you actually tell the stories of sustainability as well. And marketers often don't know what to do when they're handed a sustainability brief, and sustainability folks often don't know how to communicate about sustainability as well. So a lot of the work that we've been doing recently is providing folks who have that overlapping expertise. They know how to talk about the great work that's being done by many of you in the room today, and the other brands that Positive Luxury has as well. So yeah, hopefully we're helping to enable more impact and better work to be done.
My turn. Hi, and I'm Thomasine. Thanks for the intro. So at LK Bennett, very different from obviously, as you explained, Naomi, you started from something very new, and for us, it's being a 35-odd-year-old company, we've had to sort of pick apart and start. It's been quite a challenge for us, but we were so excited when we got certified, and we made it happen. So it was a challenge, but we did it. So for us at LK Bennett, it's about how we could make something LKB conscious. We decided that was going to be our strapline. So for us, it was how we reuse, rent and recycle the products that we deliver. So we started LKB Borrowed, which means that our consumer can now borrow our clothes. You can rent the clothes rather than buying all the time. So that's something that's truly sustainable and something we're so proud. We were one of the first leaders to do that on the high street, and it's had a great response. It enables our customer to feel empowered that she can come spend £27 and rent 5 things. So that's a fantastic offer for her, and it's a sustainable message for LK Bennett. Again, recycling is key on our agenda. We are a very London-centric company, so that means that all of our stores are mainly in London and the head office. We use a company called First Mile that helps us recycle everything in our head office, right down to our pairs of shoes, our protos that we don't use anymore, they take them away, and majority get used in car seats, so that's a fantastic message for us. So it's about that full cycle of product that we're able to now share with all of our customers and our consumers. And then obviously we also are enabling the customer to use a new company that we've started to work with, Thrift. That means that they are able to use all of their old product that they don't want anymore, come into the store. We will then send it to Thrift and they will recycle it, sell it however they want to do with it. So we're creating a circular product again. So that's really something quite exciting for us. And then all about, no, that's it really.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think I did. That's
Yeah,
what, yeah.
that's good.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Naomi, I'm really interested in this as a hospitality space, and the fact that everything you do here is dependent on service. And therefore your success in many ways is dependent on the people that are running this organization. I've met many of them today. You're all excellent. Thanks for making us feel so welcome. There's Mark, he's finally arrived in the room. There we go. Talk to me about how the role of trust building factors in your organization, and how important it is for you to focus on doing that with your employees. Equally to the customers are always what we like to talk about, but what about the people that work in the organization?
Well, I have to be very careful, won't I? Because I've got a lot of team at the back and teams behind the bar. But I think the most important thing is that people understand your vision. You have to have a real clarity of vision. You really have to know what you want to be and how you want to be perceived and how you want to talk about it. I mean, brands per se are all to do with trust. The success of a brand is obviously the consumer trusting that brand. That brand has to say something about them which they want to be said about themselves. And they also have to be able to trust that every time they go back to that brand, it's going to deliver what they want. Now that doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be the same thing, because I think the other thing, and I'm probably preempting what you may ask later on, is that people want different things at different times, and out of their brand, they may want, out of the same brand, there are many different personas, and that's what we're seeing here, whether you're going to be in your public area, you're going to be in the club, or wherever you're going to be, or whether you're working during the day and having a cocktail at night, you are the same person, but you have many personas. So a brand has got to deliver that trust, deliver every time, but also understand that it's not something static and just one thing. And to me, the way that we've been building the team and the team spirit and commitment and loyalty, and we have, I have to say, a really wonderful team, is that they understand the vision. They understand the vision. They know exactly what we're trying to do. And I've always said to everyone that joins that they're innovators, that they're pioneers, that we're not just creating another hotel and we call ourselves a residence club. They will look back in years to come and they'll say, we were part of forging that completely new path in the hospitality market. And they really, really do identify with our vision and with our pillars. And our pillars are to make people feel at home, because people can stay here from a night to a year. You can be for a night, a week, a month, a year. And we facilitate that. So people have to feel at home. We also want people to feel in control. And although we're talking about sustainability in particular, we were lucky enough to be able to go on the tech route from the very beginning, and that was a huge advantage as a hospitality outlet. We wanted to create great experiences, and then we wanted to create that positive impact. And everybody in the team, both at head office and in property, they know that that is the vision. And we do an induction session every week for our new starters as they arrive. And I attend those induction sessions every week to tell them why it happened, why it started, what we're aspiring to. And I think that personal relationship that they're hearing from the founder, what it is we're trying to do and why we're trying to do, and also because I'm passionate about it, and they pick up on that passion and they want to make it happen. So I think it is obviously explaining, but also creating the vision that everyone can participate in. And what I would say about sustainability is, of course, it's our team members who are very much spearheading it. They look at the older generation and say, what did you do to help our planet? What have you handed over to us? I've been asked that question in a panel discussion. I genuinely believe it's corporates that are going to lead the way. It's not nice, fluffy words. It's us having to deliver what we say we're going to deliver. But all the team really believe in it. So that's not a difficult sell. They're all there, and everything that we can do, they will, and they all come up with ideas as to how we could be doing things better. So I think it is to do with vision and communicating your vision, getting people to come on the journey with you.
And maybe leadership, I'm just guessing. And Hannah, I'm interested in the point you were making when you were talking about your business and trying to connect the dots between a sustainability expert in perhaps the operations side of the business and a creative expert over here on the marketing side of the business. What are the challenges that you see happening when somebody like Lynette does extraordinary work for a business like LK Bennett, and then it goes to the marketing team? How are you helping businesses? You know, what problems are you seeing and how are you helping them?
Yeah, really good question, and it's a huge topic of conversation in the sustainability space at the moment, and I'm sure you all know there's incoming regulation around claims and what you can say when it comes to sustainability now as well, so it's very top of mind for a lot of brands, and I think it's for marketers as well. They're even more nervous to talk about the impact of sustainability now as well, even more than they were before. And I think what's interesting about the space now is kind of going back to what you were saying before. It's an issue of trust. So now people feel like they can't trust what you're saying. And that's something that's been brewing and building for a long time in the space. And if you look at why that's caused, it's because there was opacity in the space, so there was a lack of transparency when it comes to the more operations side of things. So we were completely separating our consumer from the actual business and how things are made and how things are run. And then the second one was a lack of action. So marketing became a bit of a facade. It was like all the shiny bits of what you create with your brand, and wanting to hide kind of the lack of action happening from an impact perspective as well. So when you put those two pieces together, that's the thing that's quite, it's a huge opportunity that we have, I think, and a huge impact that brands can have. Their brands are like our daily touch points. They're how we identify ourselves, they're how we live our lives. It's what we put on our bodies, what we put into our mouths, and we have in our homes as well. So it's a huge channel for impact as well. So more and more brands are taking really incredible action, and I know from the people in the room, and if you're part of the positive luxury community, it means you are taking action, which is amazing. And I think it's when brands aren't taking action, that's when they can run into trouble from a marketing perspective. So I think putting the sustainability side of things with the marketing side of things is a massive opportunity. But so often we see when marketers get handed a sustainability brief or a sustainability strategy, they just have absolutely no idea what to do with it, and it's almost as if they forget all of their marketing skills. It's quite a weird one, I find.
I'm nodding at that.
So I think often what we do is have people who can help translate quite technical sustainability into something that's actually relevant for your consumer, because your consumer is incredibly busy. They're trying to feel good and look good in what they're wearing. They're not going to go read a 200-page sustainability report, and just slapping some blues and greens and an earth and hands isn't going to do it and make the case for them. So how can we make sustainability actually relevant for them as a person? And it also goes to your point as well. How can you really understand your customer, what matters to them, what are their motivators, what are their values? And that's how you tell the story of sustainability. But it's a lot about how do you figure out that translation. And I think the other thing I would say when it comes to marketing sustainability as well, again, marketing's very traditionally about creating this like beautiful, flawless version of a brand, and I think that just doesn't cut it anymore. We're so used to Instagram, TikTok, we see behind the curtains all the time, and that's now what we expect, and we expect that of our brands as well. And I think some really interesting kind of insights that we've gotten over the last couple of years is customers will actually trust you more if you are honest and transparent about a challenge that you're having when it comes to your impact, when it comes to your social and environmental impact. So actually now the risk of not talking about it is higher than the risk of being honest and open and transparent about it as well. So I think we need to upskill marketers on how to talk about all the new exciting stuff that brands are doing when it comes to the impact, but just need to know how do you actually translate that in a way that's relevant and interesting to your customer now.
Which gives me the perfect segue to Thomasine without even setting it on, which is great. So within LK Bennett's values, authenticity is a really, really strong part of how they define themselves as an organization. Yeah. So tell us about how that value weaves itself through your attempts to use the work you're doing in sustainability and as a business, I guess, more broadly, to build trust with the end customer. How does that manifest itself?
Yeah. So a lot of the language that you were using is exactly what we use internally, so that we can share with the customer. It is about honesty. It's about being transparent. It's sharing the journey that we are creating and sharing it with her, so that she's with it, in it, with us, and she trusts us. So, and I think it's about being honest if you don't know something.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not sure about that, but we will make a change and make a difference. I think that's what's really important to us as a company.
Yep, I agree. That's right. There's always room for improvement. Naomi, I've got another question for you. I was reading a panel, and there you were on a panel with Hamish, our development director. I was like, okay, I didn't know about this. But you use the term the luxury of choice when it comes to consumers, and everybody in this room is in the luxury space. Can you just explain what you mean by that concept, and whether you think could be more broadly applied beyond just the part of luxury that you work in?
I think because of the offering that we have, providing choice is more easy than maybe other luxury brands. But also we specifically went out there to create choices. As I said earlier on, you can stay with us a night or you can stay with us a year. You have these great areas up here if you want to meet with the locals. As I mentioned, the other kitchen and the Owl and Monkey, and I'm just restating the Owl and Monkey because there was something I wanted to remember to say, is the Owl and Monkey, which is our destination cocktail bar, is called the Owl and Monkey for a real, genuine reason. And that is that we don't see that we are targeting a particular demographic. We feel that we're targeting people with certain value sets. And we see that the kind of people that want to come here are people who genuinely care about sustainability and making a positive social impact. So we see them as wise as an owl. But they're also looking for great and new experiences. So they're curious as a monkey. And if you come around the property, you will see various references to owls and monkeys throughout. And although the Owl and Monkey was just the name for the bar, it's kind of become part of our psyche. And I often ask people whether they think they're owls or monkeys, and maybe hands up for people who are owls.
Sometimes.
So hands up people who are monkeys.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but it's interesting, and I told you that
She had said to me before, she says, everyone says they're a monkey. You just
You
proved
hope
her
that you
right.
are, yeah.
Anyway, but the fact is, we have this beautiful public space. We also have our club flat. So if you just want to be private and do your own thing, you can be in the club flat. If you want to go and chill, you can go down to the club. And we have a vitality pool and a sauna and a steam room and a fantastic well-being area and a gym. Or you may want to entertain friends or clients. So what this environment does is to enable you to be who you want to be at any point in time. It is, as I said, a hybrid space, and that is what people want. They may be here behind their laptop during the day, and many people are, and then they'll go and have a cocktail or go down to the club. So the luxury of choice for us is understanding that people do want choices, that it's no longer one size fits all. As I said, I think that's a real post-pandemic characteristic, that people want to live life in a different way. They want to morph life with work. They may be able to work at home, but they don't want to work from home. So you need to be able to create this really universal environment. And I think that is the same for other brands, and other people are much more expert at saying that. But your consumer wants to have different choices and different experiences whilst getting it from the brand that they love and trust. So I think that there is an expansion from what we're doing in creating, I suppose, different spaces and lifestyles to what brands can do.
Okay, thank you. And Thomasine, just give us a few examples of some of the steps that you take as an organization. You're a fashion business, so you've got a complex supply chain and a lot going on. What steps do you take as a business, particularly I guess in the sort of role that you do, to make sure that sustainable thinking is integrated from conceptual design to the person at the till at the end of that chain trying to sell that, or at least getting to finished product? What steps do you take to make sure it's not all just sitting in one corner?
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge.
But I think it's about being authentic and being passionate, and as a creative team we are definitely that. So I was on to a good start, and having lots of my team members are that. They are so passionate and believe in sustainability, so I had a real driving force behind me. And I guess from design all the way through to the end goal, it's about bringing people into the fold. It wasn't about having a sustainable team over there that were then going to police everything that everyone did. It was about creating a team within. So we had a steering group that then was created from every department. So from, obviously I run the buying, technical and creative side, but then you've got logistics. You've got the people that move the stock around the business, the warehouse, the finance team. How could we get them all involved so it wasn't just us as a product team saying, this is what we need to deliver on solely on our own? So we couldn't do it on our own. So we brought a member from every one of that department came in, and we created a steering group, and I think that was our success. And then everyone felt empowered. They felt empowered that the message that we wanted to deliver as a brand, they were part of. So I think that's how we managed to get the great butterfly. She knows. We love it.
And the one, I have to mention. She'll pop back.
Of course, we couldn't have done it without her.
There we go. And Hannah, you sort of answered this question that I was going to ask you, but so I'm going to ask it a slightly different way. If you'd want to see most luxury brands in this room doing one thing in terms of sustainability communications, what's the one thing? She's already told us to open up the curtain and look behind the scenes a bit more and be brave, but so what's the one thing you really say you just got to start doing this?
Yeah, I think in addition to the transparency piece of things, well, luxury is incredibly interesting because it has such a pull towards heritage and craftsmanship, but I think the other role that luxury really plays is being a leader and being a visionary. And you were speaking about this as what's the vision that you want to put out in the world, and communications is so important to really do that. So I think I actually feel luxury often is quite behind when it comes to sustainability communications, but as a leader, that's your role in the industry. So luxury is often kind of the designers of aspiration. So how can you actually use your creativity and your innovation and your craftsmanship to create a positive vision of the future that everyone then wants to follow you towards? So what does that sustainable future look like for you? How is your brand enabling your customers, enabling the supply chain to actually be a part of the sustainable future and create pockets of it now as well? So I think in addition to the transparency side of things, that's what I would say is what's your sustainability vision as a business? How can you integrate it into what the future of your business looks like and is and will become? And then how can you tell the story of that for both your employees as well as for your customers as well, because you are seen as such leaders in your industry. So I guess take your communications as part of your responsibility to help shape that vision of what a sustainable future can be, so that we all want to move towards it, rather than feeling like a future feels like quite apocalyptic and doom and gloom. We need to paint a positive picture that we actually want to work towards.
Wonderful, thank you. Couldn't have said it anywhere near as well as she just did. I'm going to wrap up with a final question for anyone, but I just wanted to give anybody in the audience the opportunity. We'll have drinks afterwards, so everybody can come up and ask questions, but is there any burning questions right now that anyone wants to ask? Any brave souls out there? I can tell we are not in my homeland. Okay. So, it's a final speed question because I think people need some canapes and a cocktail. That's nice. But each of you, and we'll start with you, Thomasine, and we'll go to the left. What's the one piece of really practical advice you'd give to other luxury businesses that you've learned to help them build trust?
I think honesty, transparency, and sharing, communicating always with your team and external team, with your customers as a brand. And then don't be frightened to say you don't know. I don't know, but I will seek help and find the answer.
Great. Naomi?
Well, I really reprise what I said. You've got to have a really clear vision of where you want to be, how you want to be perceived, and how you communicate it. That's the most important thing that you can do. And also be brave enough to know when you need to modify or change what you're doing. We're not going to stand still. Our consumers aren't going to stand still, and we have to move with them. But we have to be true to our values, and we cannot deviate from that. And we just have to find better and more powerful ways of delivering those values and delivering our messaging.
Yeah, totally agree with everything that you both said as well. I think mine would be to not see sustainability as you say, a separate department or something to bolt onto the side of the business, but actually have it be something that is integrated into the core of your business and even your business vision, because your customers are changing, regulation is changing, and obviously the climate is changing as well. So if your business isn't keeping up with the changes that are happening, it's just a business risk for you. So the more that you can actually integrate it into every department, into the vision of your business, the better off you'll be in the long run, and not turn into one of like a future dinosaur, but actually be able to be a part of that sustainable future.
Thank you. Right, so I want to start by, I want to wrap up, but
I'm going to begin by thanking our lovely panel. Thank you, Thomasine. Thank you, Naomi. Thank you, Hannah. I'd like to echo Hannah's message to everybody in this room. We work in the luxury industry. We are a highly aspirational industry with a massive ability to influence and educate consumers. So I would encourage everybody to hear what these very, very clever individuals have said and be brave about communication and use the power that we have. I want to thank Naomi in particular and the other house team all around the room for your hospitality and for hosting us all tonight. It's a fantastic venue, and I hope everybody appreciates and sees all the little owls and monkeys there now, and appreciates that, to Naomi's point, we can be both, because it just depends where we are in our day. So that is good. Thank you to everyone who made the time to come out in what has not been the most glorious day to join us, to our clients, to our partners, to the wider positive luxury community. We're really proud to work with all of you. It's obviously a tough job that we do, getting to work with great businesses, doing great things day in and day out. I'd love to have a chat with people. I didn't have a cocktail before the panel, but now we can. So if people want to stick around, that would be lovely. If you need to take off, obviously go for it. We've got drinks next door. For those of you who haven't discovered the bathrooms, even if you don't need them, go check them out. They're at the bottom of the stairs.
The sinks are amazing.
The things are absolutely amazing, and if you check things, they're back in the back end of this room if you need to sneak out and do a Houdini. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you again very much, everyone, for being here, and thank you to my lovely panelists.
Thank you.